Hey guys, we're back for day 8. This is where we're at so far. We've got quite a lot of the head done, a few gaps to fill in, a little bit more strength work on the inside. Usually on the day when I come back after doing a bunch of welding like this, I like to just go over my work again because I probably got tired, I probably missed a bunch of things, and it's always good to just like double check your work before you sort of fill this space in and then can't access it anymore. So I'm gonna do that. I'm not gonna bother filming it because it's something that you've seen a million times. And then actually do a little bit of work on the body before we carry on with the head, just to put that in context. So I'll see you guys in a second. Okay, so I have no idea where the head's gone. Okay, hey guys. Yeah, we just added a bunch more strength, so that's good. We can kind of leave that alone. I think I'm gonna ignore the gaps for now because I potentially want to fill those with some circuit board just so that we can get this really colorful, but we're gonna actually move on to the body. So at the moment, we're just fleshing out the basic shape. This is gonna be the main piece that I'm gonna use to build everything around. Obviously, it's pretty thin and flat, so it's just a good kind of width to kind of use as like a big piece that we can just build stuff around. This, I really like this speaker. I think it would be a great way to start the like formation of the tail. So we're gonna imagine that being somewhere down here. It's also, because it's a speaker, it's a massive magnet. So that could be interesting. It might be helpful, or it might just be really irritating, who knows? And then we've got this piece, which I've actually found this on the floor a few days ago when I was walking down the street with my friend. I might have taken a video when I actually found it, but if I did, then that'll appear somewhere now. But if it didn't, you'll just have to take my word for it. But I basically just curved this into the general shape of a bit of back, and then I want to attach this like that and sort of get that welded up. This piece I think we're going to use as a bit of underbelly, and then we can have everything sort of curve out from there to match up with the top. And then at some point the head will get attached and everything. But main thing I'm going to start working on is this piece. I need to check if it's actually something I can weld. This is not welding right. Let's see if these can actually weld together. I have a pretty good feeling that they won't. No. Oh. I feel like I say this literally all the time, but we're going to have to improvise. I have another bad feeling that it's not going to be. But I need to check that out, because if we can weld directly onto it, then that's amazing and will make this whole thing way easier. If we can't, then I'm going to have to get a bit more creative and figure something out. But let's go have a look. Right, so here we have the piece. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's weldable. So I have low expectations, but we're gonna try anyway, just in case. Okay, so that's pretty promising. We actually get current going through it, and we've made a couple of little weld spots. The question is, can we actually weld anything to it? Let's test out with this. Okay, that looks pretty good. Oh, but that doesn't. Okay, so you can see it's actually snapped off the bit that we'd welded. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be able to produce anything actually strong. I think it's just gonna be really weak and brittle. That's really annoying. The good thing is it's got a lot of holes running through it, so it means that I can make a sort of scaffolding in the same way that I did obviously with the other pieces. It's just annoying because it's just going to make it way harder than it was going to be otherwise. I think we can probably put some nails. I just need to do this wherever I can, thread some weldable material through, and that way we've got points where we can actually weld stuff. I also need to modify this in a few places. I think I want it to be, obviously it's not exactly symmetrical, but I think these bits I want to chop off so that they don't protrude as much, so that I can just treat the whole thing as being kind of the same height. And then I think I'm gonna take off a couple of these edges here as well. Ideally, I'd be doing this outside, but I don't have any cordless equipment which I'd need So we're just gonna have to do it inside for now and make sure that I have lots of protection for my lungs mainly more than anything. I'm just gonna mark off where I need to cut so that I know what I'm doing. Okay, we've got all those cut off. That's way better. It's much flatter, much nicer. So it'll be way easier for us to start attaching everything. But yeah, I'm just gonna give it a sand down so that it doesn't have these like rough, slightly janky edges. Okay, now that that's done, I'm just going to let the room air out a little bit. Obviously, I don't have any windows in here, and I just made a load of metal dust filling the air, so I'm just going to keep the door open. I think I'm going to go to the common room and have some dinner. First things first, I want to attach this section. So because I can't actually weld these directly to each other, I'm going to have to do a similar thing to the head, where I basically fix this in place temporarily with super glue and then weld it all together, pinning it in place after. So let's get started, I guess. Okay, so one of the things about using super glue is obviously it's not actually strong enough to hold a piece of this size all together. So what I'm doing is really just holding that stuff in place just so that I can then go and actually weld it in place. It's not going to be the thing that's keeping this together, but you do have to be careful when you're using it, because say I had super glue on the top of this piece, then I wouldn't be able to weld anything to the top because the super glue forms a layer which electricity can't pass through, and you can only weld if the two metals actually can have an electrical current like flow through them and they're connected by that electrical current. So the super glue kind of breaks the circuit. So you have to be careful that you don't use too much. I only want to use enough that I can get it to be held in place, and then I can weld it up properly. This is still obviously very weakly joined together, but I'm now going to go over and start making those first welds and just getting it all put together. Right, I'm going to thread this through that hole. I don't know if I actually ever press film, so I'm not sure if you guys saw all of that. If you didn't, I'm just joining it all together. Oh. Okay, so here we've got this going through that hole, which joins it up to the one on this side. I'm just going to repeat the same thing over here. Woo! Okay, so I was slightly worried that was actually going to fall, but that's really good. And we've only got like 4 points of connection, so that'll be even stronger. Okay, I've just added on this piece to the bottom. This is what we're going to use to like kind of curve the edges around as a bit of a base. Again, I'm just roughly fixing it in place with super glue so that I can then weld it on properly. But that's what we're looking at for the body so far. Obviously needs to be actually like 3D rather than flat like it is at the minute. Looking way sturdier. We've got this sort of base plate on at the bottom, and then what I plan to do is like kind of keep that pretty flat because it will be a good base to attach to like whatever the display is, and then we'll curve out on each side. I need to extend this slightly, and I've got this piece which is really cool, great colors, very similar to the head. So I think the plan is that I'll just get that attached, something like that, just to continue the curve, which will lead to the tail, which will probably be like this, and then the head sort of coming off. I want to use these where the arms are going to come off. So if you think we have something like that going on, and we're actually starting to look a bit like a chameleon. Maybe I'll do the head on a tilt, who knows. And I've added a few different nails in, kind of similar to how we did up here. I'm probably going to do a couple more down this end to get it secured there. And then we've also got this band, which kind of locks it in there. I think I'm going to just flesh out this body section a little bit more first. That actually worked pretty well, so I'm just gonna sand the edge down so it's a lot cleaner and probably leave it at that. So that's done. We have 2 of these now, and I actually managed to get them like exactly the same size, which I really didn't think I was going to do. Even when I actually like drew the line on, I messed that up slightly. It wasn't in the middle, so I was kind of playing it slightly by ear, but yeah, they're exactly the same. So the idea for these is I actually ended up leaving this top lip on because there isn't any need to remove it. It won't stop me from like bending this, and it's just extra work to cut it, which was unnecessary. The Dremel was running pretty hot as it was, so just figured why not. But now basically I have these 2 side panels. They're not going to be big enough. They're the right length now while they're flat, but they need to be curved, so they won't quite match up, but I'll be able to join them on really nicely to that. So I'm not going to do it now, but these will get a nice bend in. I'll have to make sure that they're symmetrical in terms of the bending. Worked out really well. I'm really pleased with that, actually. That will just be a really good way to build up the 3D-ness of that mid-torso section. But I think we've done quite a lot today. I'll flip you around and show you. You've got the head looking nice, body off to a start, and then sort of an indication of how the rest of the thing is going to be. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with the progress. It's coming along and starting to actually look 3D. But it's incredibly late now, so I'm gonna head home and I'll see you guys for the next one. If you like this video, subscribe, leave a like, it really helps. And let me know if you have any questions, anything that you'd like to ask about the build, what's going on with it, or if you have any ideas of things that you think I should do, things that I shouldn't do, just let me know in the comments and I'll reply to every single one of them. Okay, bye.